Let's go. Good morning. I am John Halcyon. This is Live Morning. Welcome to this recording. Actually live, but I can see that no one is here yet. So, welcome. And this is a daily practice, a chance for us to share a little bit of gratitude, to be connected to fellow human beings on this planet, remembering that we're not alone, that we are surrounded by like-minded, open-hearted people. Good morning, Annalise. Good morning to you. Welcome to this day. What are you feeling grateful for? I am feeling grateful for a nice overcast morning. I'm grateful for a little chance for a little bit of cuddles in the morning before I woke up with my beloved. I am grateful for I'm feeling quite grateful for my house plants. I did a round of watering yesterday and was just feeling an unusual amount of glee, as especially like this one right here, this split leaf philodendron. It's just doing so good. Makes me so happy to see back there. Good morning, Joyous. Joyous is grateful for the new view I have on YouTube. Game changer. Awesome. Good morning to you, Jason. Annalise sharing, grateful for learning. I'm 36 and finally decided to play the guitar. Nice. I actually had a fantasy recently of learning to play the guitar. My partner is quite talented in the guitar and a bunch of instruments and music and singing. And I'm like, I should, see if she can teach me a little bit. And then I just started to remembering like what it takes, and like I'm like, oh, that I think the romantic notion of learning the guitar is a lot different than the reality. But I wish you a smooth and rewarding journey of learning. Thank you, Annalise. Good morning, Gerbot. Good morning. Happy Thursday. Thursday, that's right. So I'm grateful that I'm recording Stay Spark today. Going to be connecting with my partners, Betsy and Yanis, after this to record a new episode of Stay Sparked, which is available on all your streaming platforms not streaming platforms, your podcasting platforms, Apple Podcast, Spotify, should be anywhere. Who else has got something that they're grateful for or a intention for the day? I've got also, I'm looking forward to it. I'm grateful for visiting a friend this afternoon, Michael. And then maybe I think we're hosting a dinner tonight. So I'm looking forward to all of these connections, and I'm going to remember to be a love ambassador and remember that even as I'm connecting with people that I have wonderful histories with, that I'm going to focus on being authentic and genuine and not get caught up in presentation, not get caught up in forming or overly hosting in a performative way. That's part of my intentions for the day. Good morning, Valerie. Valerie's in Puerto Vallarta. Awesome. Super grateful for a lady named Linda who fought all her life for women's rights in sailing. And I'm grateful for those who work to protect all the dolphins and whales we saw while racing. Sweet. Well, I'm glad that you are having such a blast on your adventure. Thank you for sharing. Super cool. Anyone else have a little bit of gratitude to share today? I'm grateful for some sweet, warm, watered down coffee that I then added some mushroom morning drink, some mud water to. So it's delicious and sweet and not extra caffeinated, but a little caffeinated. Gerbot, grateful I was able to reschedule a meeting today so I could play hooky today and go snowboarding. Nice. Awesome. Does that mean you're going for 2 days or just today? Sweet. Has there been recent snow? I've been seeing a lot of people posting about going, so I'm guessing that there's POW. Is that the term? I saw some picture at the local Southern California mountain, and it was like there's only like one or two of the lifts were open, and the line was like increíble. 2 days of snowboarding for Gerbot. Awesome. Well, we will be in deep POW. See, I can hang. I got the lingo. Hey, Bill. Good morning. Bill says, I'm grateful for opportunity, grateful for my job where I'm giving opportunities to touch lives on a little bus ride to the airport. I'm grateful for the gratitude anniversary coming up. Yeah, that's right. We've got the gratitude gatherings in Zoom that happen 3 times a day in Zoom, and they're free. You're always welcome. We started those just about 4 years ago when lockdown started with COVID, and so we each year we have like a celebration at the anniversary, kind of, to celebrate the connections and the practice of gratitude. Which this is a part of that, but it's not a part of that. It's connected. It's influenced by. It helps to recognize the benefit of a gratitude practice. And I think a public gratitude practice, a sharing with others, is especially powerful, as you sometimes will hear things that stir your own awareness of things that you have to be grateful for. Whether that is like last night, I'm grateful that the rain did not leak through the ceiling. Now, that was not the case for a while. So I'm grateful that it seems like we got our crack situation under control. And I'm grateful that I took the initiative to get up in the middle of the night. I was up last night from about 1:30 till 3:30 in the morning. I went to bed early, so it wasn't too stressed that I was up, but it was raining, and then it was barely raining, like drizzling. But there wasn't the sound of rain. There was a sound of like dunk 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 dunk. I'm like, what is dripping? Like it felt like something is dripping like on a drum. Like I wonder if I could go out there and just move whatever is being landed on that's making it so loud. And so I went out and I saw that like the gutter, the metal, gutter section, as it swoops from a vertical to horizontal angle, was landing from up top, was dropping directly on that. It was like a drum. And so I found something outside that was like a ceramic, a piece of like a pot, and put it so that the water would hit that instead. So then it was just a much lighter tapping sound, and which you could not hear once I went inside. You couldn't even hear it at all. So I was like, ah. And I'm so glad that I did it, because as I'm in bed struggling with that thump 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 thump, I was like, should I just, like, if I get up, is that going to be worse? Am I going to be even more riled up and more alert and harder to go back to sleep? Or should I just do it? Should I get up and do something? You ever had that feeling of like, which is going to be worse? Like getting up to pee or staying in bed and just dealing with the pressure in your bladder, which is going to be the hardest to sleep. So I am grateful that it was fruitful. I was able to stop the sound and get back to sleep. Gerbot, I think I'm reading this correctly when I say, the roof has been fixed. Come on, bring no water, because we're motherfucking fixed. Lisa, I was seeing your post this morning. Lisa says, I am grateful for the most magical night last night, watching the goddess Stevie Nicks perform from about 12 feet from me. I saw a little bit of your video. You were close. That was great. You put the little clip from her beginning landslide, and I was like, "Oh, gonna get all misty." Beautiful. So glad to hear you had a good time. If you've not been following along, Lisa has a countdown from the last, I think, 3 months leading up to this show. It has been a source of gratitude on a daily basis, and so happy to hear that you had a good time, and thank you for sharing all your gratitude. It's so wonderful for me and others to get a jolt of joy through your joy. Thank you, Gerbot. Thank you. I'm with you. Speaking of with you, oh gosh, now I'm gonna forget the guy's name. There's this comedian. His name's like Jazz or some kind of funky name. He sounds like he's from Boston. Actually, I'll find it. I'll find his name because I want to talk about him. Maybe I won't. Maybe I won't. Oh yeah, Des Bishop. Des Bishop. Have you guys heard him? He's got some clips that have been going viral. He's got a full special available on YouTube. But if you want to see clips, just look up Des Bishop. And even I'd say Des Bishop Mindfulness is the one that really got me hooked into him, because he says he brings up a point that I talk about all the time about the difference between when I was a kid and even when I was in college versus now in terms of what life is like. And he does it in a way that I just found so funny. So if you are even close to my age, I think you'll find Des Bishop pretty darn funny. If you're much younger than me, you probably won't be that funny. Good morning, Sarah. Sarah is grateful to catch us live. After 3 weeks of a toothache, it's gone. Ooh, next level trauma, 3 extractions, implants, sinus, surgery. Grateful to my uncle for driving me 6 hours to a good surgeon. Oh my goodness. Well, I am grateful that challenge is in the rearview mirror. Whew. Continuing on, Sarah says, much reverence and empathy for people in chronic pain and sharing ways to deal with it. I understand that. I am today so grateful for being free from nerve pain today, which is, it's such a recalibration because I do have quite a bit of lower back pain today. I woke, my psoas have been really pulling, I think that's what's going on. And so I've been waking every morning with some pretty legit lower back pain, trying to get that stretched out and moving so it doesn't affect me throughout the day. But like compared to the nerve pain, it's so minor. It's so workable. It's like, thank you for the pain I have. Thank you. Anyone else want to share some gratitude before we head off into our days and spread goodness? I encourage us to remember that we are love ambassadors, and to whatever degree that fits you today, that you have the ability to increase the goodness, the joy, the kindness, the presence, the patience in the world. That could just mean the way you treat yourself. Maybe yesterday I did no coffee and I did very little. I watered my plants. I straightened the house a little bit. I didn't do a lot of productivity, but my love ambassador duties yesterday was to be kind to myself, to do my physical therapy, to self-care. Today, I'm going to be out in the world a little bit more. So I think my love ambassador responsibilities today are going to be trying to be kind to the people I encounter, trying to be authentic and genuine, trying to trust and be vulnerable in the world. Look for ways that I can be a little bit more kind. And I encourage us all to find what is the way that we can push a little bit into our best versions of ourselves. Good morning, Painty. Good morning, Brent. Anyone else want to share a little gratitude or a little intention for the day? I'm grateful for getting a little bit of courage as I play with ChatGPT. I took a transcript from like a 10-year-old Hug Nation video on YouTube and put the transcript into ChatGPT and then started asking questions like, can you give me the bullet points from this lecture? What are the main points? Could you give me some good quotes from this talk? It was illuminating. It was illuminating. So I'm grateful for that experience. I have this grand awareness of the possibilities of ChatGPT, but also like some real walls with using it more than things like help me write a song or help me write a children's story, which I've been doing quite a bit. Last chance for some gratitude. I'm grateful for this opportunity to start the day with you, and grateful for the opportunity to continue the day with a Stay Sparked episode. If you've not been listening, please, I encourage you, have a listen. If you'd rather have a little chuckles and laughter, check out Hard on the 80s. And I have not been listening to many podcasts lately. I've been watching lots of shows. In fact, I've been like listening to TV shows while I've been driving rather than listening to a podcast. So maybe I should get back into the listening stage. Annalise is grateful for my mind and how I still have mine. Well, don't rub it in to those of us who have lost ours. Thank you, Annalise, and thank you, everyone, wherever you are. Before we go off into our days, let's give ourselves a big hug, appreciating this body that we're in, appreciating this now moment and all the opportunities ahead of us. Grateful and aware of the fact that we're surrounded by human beings doing the best they can with what they got, and we're doing the same. And so let's forgive them, forgive ourselves, just be aware of this shared human experience that we're all having through a very unique perspective. Take a deep breath in and release. And actually, okay, there's one more thing I'm going to share. If you're still here and want to stay for it. First, Joy says, grateful for these connection points and grateful for the impactful practice that gratitude has on my life. And Sarah sharing, grateful for all getting snow in our thirsty mountains. Happy Earth. Grateful to go skiing today to recalibrate my cabin fever. Nice. Okay, so the one, I had this really awesome conversation with Lisa yesterday about the desire to be heard and understood by others. And kind of the awareness that no matter what, that only goes so deep, that no other human being will ever fully understand your experience. And that there is only so much that we can share that can actually be understood by others. That there is this deep level of thoughts and experiences that is sub-shareable. And sometimes that can be alienating, feeling like, well, no one really understands me. But I think that there's something beautiful about knowing that that part is just between you and God, or you and your higher self. It's just, but there is some fun, I think, or I enjoy the process of like, can you explain more of this stuff? And what is the barrier to explaining more of this layer? Because sometimes it's shame, sometimes it's embarrassment. Sometimes and if you follow me much, you know that one of the things I really try to practice is if I start to notice some thoughts or awareness or experience that is below that normal level of what is generally just ours, if I become aware of it, can I observe it and then just speak it? So often what I'm doing is speaking my experience, but what I'm trying to do is saying, look what I just noticed. I just noticed this level of experience that is, I think, in the realm that is just for us. But guess what? It doesn't have to be, because we're all having similar things. I don't think you can ever get to the bottom of that well of unique human experiences. But there is this experience of saying something that you're embarrassed about and then realizing everybody has it. That's one of the joys of, group therapy is someone goes, I'm going to tell the shameful thing. And then everyone goes, me too, me too. Like yesterday, during this conversation, I had this awareness of thoughts that I was having in my head that even when I was telling my partner about my day, this level of experience was below the threshold of shareable. And so I kind of sat in with it. I'm like, you know what? Yesterday, while you were out, did not have the most productive day. So when I did do things that were productive, like I was watering plants, I did a bunch of like cutting of some papers, things that I needed to do. And so a part of me left it out longer than I needed to, hoping that you would come home and see it. And in defense of you possibly judging me for not having a productive day. Now, by the time she got home, I had put it all away, and I never had the feeling that she was judging me. But if I hadn't dug into it, that whole level of thought would have gone. I probably never would have thought of it again. So it was just an interesting practice of digging into and recognizing this, deep below the surface thoughts that we have. When I say surface, the surface of shareable that we all have in our private experience of being a human being, and how much of that can be shared. I think part of intimacy is learning to trust people and go deeper and deeper into that. And I think person by person, some people have a really high realm of what feels comfortable, shareable. And some people, the shareable level is really false. It's a facade. It's about sports and and what they think they should be saying, and the entire level of their true inner thoughts and the inner dialogue is protected. Sometimes you need to. Sometimes you've learned through very difficult experiences that you've got to keep that private. It's very dangerous. You can be kicked out of the tribe. You can be removed from the family. So intimacy is when you start to go, hey, look what happens below the surface in my mind. What do you think? Am I onto something? Or is this a thought below the surface that should not be shared? A couple more gratitudes before I leave. Carolyn saying gratitude meetings are kind of like praying to Mecca, but only 3 times a day. I think you're onto something. Lisa says, even if they don't understand, when people listen to our shares, it helps. Yes, exactly. And that was something that we were talking about yesterday. Is the objective is not simply to understand, because I think to expect someone to understand your experience is you're bound to be let down. What you can hope for is to be heard and to be accepted. So when I am listening to someone share their raw truth, I cannot promise that I will understand everything you're saying and I will understand your experience, but I can promise that I will listen and I will accept whatever it is. And then through time, I think there's more understanding that can happen. There's more dots that can be made between your experience and my experience, and your fears and my fears, and your anxieties and my anxieties. And so we can kind of get like a framework of understanding and connection, even though it isn't a complete understanding. It is an acceptance. It is being heard. That's the path of connection. Sarah says, thank you for this. This has been a practice I've been working on deeply. I seek to understand then the need to be understood. Brent says, the work from home shame. Totally. Joey says, this is so wonderful to speak on. Intimacy says, into me, I see. Awesome, says Valerie. Great insight, Gerbot. All right, cool. I'm glad that I decided to share this after the hug. I was like, oh, so thank you, Juan. Izzy says, good morning. I'm grateful for the person supporting me in this challenging time. Lovely. We hold space for each other. Yes. Sarah says, vulnerability is scary sometimes, especially with those that don't understand and judge us. I experienced this with family. Yeah, this is That's a tough one. And I really struggle with this because on one level, on one level, I believe that if you can find the right way to share your truth, even family that goes like, I cannot accept you, that over time they will find a place of understanding. If you can avoid conflict, with the exception of some really deep aspects of homophobia and racism and things like that are just so deep that people cannot break out of it. But it's possible in most situations. Um, Isabel's also grateful for a great phone call with Dad. Yeah. Um, Sarah's saying that family member who reacted callously to my vulnerability, very painful to not connect with him. And that is, so I think that is the huge risk. And I'm very curious to hear if you want to keep up with me, like what is the long experience of that? Because I think there's a couple things that can happen. One is that you separate your lives, and the long-term effect from that can be beneficial, because if there's someone in your life that is keeping you in a state of performance rather than truth, having to present in a way that you're supposed to or keep your truth, then you're always kind of spending energy holding that in. If that person is removed from your life, there is a freedom there. Yes, there's pain in the extraction, but there's a long-term freedom. Another possibility is that person over time softens. And when much later, you reach out again and say, I would love to have a more healed relationship with you. Is there a way that can happen? Maybe they say, screw you, you sinner, and it doesn't work, but maybe they have softened over time. And it really depends on the relationship, and there's a lot that can go into it, but there's, I think, a lot of people that um a, a lot of people, I think, are surprised when a family member they think is going to reject them finds capacity, even though they don't understand. They're like, I don't understand, but I'm struggling, but I do know I love you, and so give me time. Gerbot saying, amen. Seek first to understand is one of the 7 habits of highly effective people. Oh, look at that. I should read more. Oh, thank you everyone for this post-hug ramble. I am, as always, filled with warmth and appreciation for this practice. So thank you for being a part of it with me. Enjoy your Thursday. Bye.